You were having the threesomes with them. You were in a relationship with somebody else.
Yes.
So did you assume it was his child?
I don't know how to explain it. We were a very passionate couple, I guess. We had intercourse a lot.
And you've put yourself into this situation where you or your best friend could be the father of her child. You crossed a line. Ms. Davis, we said that there were 4 potential fathers.
Yes, Your Honor.
I need you to walk me through that.
There are 4 potential fathers, and each of the individual men I actually met on a chat line within days upon each other.
Head over heels in love with a woman twice his age and backstabbed by his own best friend, this Atlanta man wants to know if he is the father of the defendant's 2-year-old daughter. The plaintiff started his betrayal story like this.
First attracted you to her?
Her personality. I really was intrigued by her energy. She's like the life of the party, but her mind is what captured my heart. But after finding out all the stuff that she did, I look at her like a dirty dish rag trying to wash clean dishes.
But the self-proclaimed cougar had no shame about her game. She admitted that she cheated. However, Miss Woods never imagined that she would end up getting pregnant at the age of 43. Still, she was an amendment that the plaintiff is the father.
You sleep with his best friend?
I'm blaming it on the alcohol.
You're not the first in this courtroom.
Y'all understand that, but the thing of it is, we had a little too much to drink, and everything is about being at my house, throwing parties, inviting everybody over to my house. My house is what we call the party spot. And all this took place after I'm a mother of 11 kids before I had Trinity, okay?
Even the judge could see how hard all of this was for the alleged father. Mr. Baker told the court how excited he was about having the baby. The guy was there for every little bit because he had no idea about the defendants cheating on him.
Going hard for her, massaging her back, massaging her feet, cleaning, cooking. And I don't even cook, young. So you know how serious it was.
Yes, he did
I'm planning
that.
for this life. I was really serious about it. 8 months into the pregnancy, I get a phone call from my cousin. She said she got something to tell me, but she didn't know how to tell me because it was gonna hurt my feelings.
Their own love started from a one-night stand, and then it bloomed into something permanent, adding a kid to the mix and making it a lifetime commitment, or at least that's what Mr. Baker was thinking.
That was my
But it
intention.
wasn't.
No, that's what he thought it was gonna be.
And the relationship?
It was going good.
Okay.
Like I told you, when she told me she was pregnant, I was excited because I done been through experiences before. I done been through this twice. One of my exes, she was pregnant, had a miscarriage. The second time, I was actually in the hospital holding the baby.
So he wasn't on the birth certificate. This brought up the concussion part. So the calendar showed that she slept with men in the same proximity. That's why the judge called Mr. Dudley in. But when he got to hell got loose.
For him, make sure he, you know what I'm saying,
looking out
watch
for
out
me,
for
bro?
him. Yeah, bro.
You was looking out for me.
Yeah, bro.
How was you looking out for me?
You got a little slit bucket. This is a
Come on,
slit
bro.
bucket right here, bro.
If that's the case, if you was looking out for me, why you didn't tell me? How come I had to find out from somebody else?
Hey, bro, let me tell you like this here. It happens like that sometimes.
Why you didn't tell me? Why you didn't come to me like
Because-
a real man and tell me?
Well, Jimmy claimed that he was actually trying to look out for him and to expose the toxic nature of Miss Woods. Nonetheless, Mommy here refused to be painted as the villain in the story.
How you gonna expose me? You ain't wanna expose me, baby. You wanna sleep with me like everybody else.
I mean, you were looking
Yes.
good that night, you know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
I
You
know
look
I
nice
was.
and everything, but
I
that
know
wasn't what I was trying to do
You know
at
what
that
it
point
was?
in
You
time.
couldn't stand to see me.
So
You
hold on.
You got 11
You wanted to
children.
break us up.
You
What my
got
kids
11
got to do with it? My
kids,
kids
man.
grown on their own. I only
That
have
man
5
ain't got
at
no
home.
kids. Why you
My
trying to tie that
kids
man
are
down like
grown on
that?
their own, doing better than
Why
you,
you trying to
son.
tie that man down
Doing
like
better
that?
than you, son.
Yeah, order in the court, please. The judge made it clear that there was no bigger person in this mess. It's just grown-ups making wrong decisions and little children paying for them. While the baby mama testified she was sure that the plaintiff was the only potential father, let's see if she is telling the truth.
Mr. Dudley, you are not her father.
Ooh, chew on that.
Mr. Baker,
Yes, Your Honor.
you are not her father. Jerome.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Miss Santos was in a big mess as her secret baby daddy passed away. Plus, the family of the deceased father refused to accept the baby. Why were they doing so? Because for Grandma, the child was a betrayal of trust, and we know when such sentiments are involved, there is good drama coming.
How did this begin, this relationship with Mr. Cologne?
The thing was, it was such a secret because me and Raymond grew up together from Pampers.
Like cousins.
Like cousins. That's why it was such a secret. We don't have blood in our system. We don't have the same blood running through our system.
Baby mama and Mr. Colon were like cousins, and clearly they crossed a line mingling like that. But in the plaintiff's defense, they weren't actually related. Moreover, it was the alleged father who pushed Miss Santos's feelings, which distress the defendant was not ready to buy at all.
It's very disrespectful. Very disrespectful. You know, if he wanted to be with you, you should have told him, no, we're family.
I
And
did,
you
but
didn't.
he was so, no, he was so persistent on trying to be with me that I gave, I gave in.
So you just
we're
went with the
not
flow.
blood. We're
So
not
the
blood.
bottom
that
line-
was my whole thing. We're not blood.
Yeah, I know it sounds pretty simple, right? Grew up together and fell in love. Well, it wasn't, as Miss Santos was cheating on her boyfriend with her boyfriend and initially acted like J.U. Jew was his.
But you were in a relationship with somebody else.
Yes, I was, and Raymond knew that.
And sexually active with that person as
Yes.
well as Mr. Cologne.
Well,
Yes.
that's my case.
And this was around the time of conception.
Yes, I told Raymond that I was pregnant or whatever because me and Raymond was really close.
If she believed others and was the father, then what changed her mind? Well, it turns out that her ex-boyfriend wanted nothing to do with Julius. This left both mommy and baby on the street, after which Mr. Colon came to their rescue. Nonetheless, Mama Colon mentioned a crucial part Miss Santos missed.
Before the baby daddy, before the guy that fathered the child, apparently.
Okay, her boyfriend at the time.
Her boyfriend at the time. Then she was alone for a little while. She hooked up with another man that she was living with, that Raymond was his friend. So Raymond would come out of work, come home, take a bath, eat something, and go to their house to play little video games.
Ramon, being the baby daddy, was a no-go zone for Mary Lou because J.U. Jew looked nothing like the rest of the Colon. Further, the grandma was adamant that if her son was a father to any child in the world, he would have never hidden from his mother.
If he thought, by any slim chance, if he would have thought that Julius is my son, let me go talk to my mom and dad and see if they'll help me pay a DNA test if I could be positive that it is my son. For when they took their trip to Florida last year, he could have gone to City Hall and signed his name on the birth certificate.
However, it was revealed that the perfect son moved out of his home from Miss Collins on Mother's Day. Later, she found out that Ramon moved to be with the plaintiff. Well, that is a pretty clear sign of them being more than just friends.
Playing baby daddy.
He was not playing baby
He was
daddy
a good,
because we first
responsible
moved in
man.
together as
I
a roommate.
raised a good, responsible man. He put a roof over her head. Apparently, they were just roommates in the beginning, and then the relationship started. When I was told that they were living together, no.
So nobody except mommy and daddy knew about the affair, right? Well, that's the twist, as the auntie of Julius testified that her brother told her about his son, and that her mother was in denial, because in her eyes, her son wouldn't do anything like that.
Stand her doubt.
Yes.
You just don't have the same doubt.
Yes, true. I'm not going against with whatever my mom says because my mom is totally right. Whatever she says, she's right. You know what I'm saying? But
Now
she's
that's
right.
a good
my
daughter,
mom.
isn't it, Miss Cologne?
She knows who cooks for her.
Okay.
That's my mom.
Still, none of this was convincing enough for the defendant because in Miss Cullen's eyes, her baby angel could do no wrong, and she blamed Miss Santos for brewing all the drama for the money.
That he was a daddy to this child.
Yes.
You just
Yes.
are
Daddy.
not
Daddy was
convinced there is a
pregnant, there was no
biological
love,
connection there.
I need proof, real proof. If he is, then we will help the child. And if it's not, so please leave us alone. Just leave us alone. That's all. If the baby is not Raymond's.
Confucion and negation are running too much in this case. Though the judge felt bad for both sides, still, it was clear all of this quarreling was the result of the potential father hiding the truth and baby mama not going for a DNA test before. But it wasn't too late. Let's get to that envelope.
When it comes to the paternity of 4-year-old Julius Juju Santos, it has been determined that Mr. Raymond Cologne is not father.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I know this was not the news you wanted to hear today.
I'm just grateful that my son was raised with a great man.
Little Jordan lost her chance at paternity when her potential father kicked her mother out of his house out of nowhere. So mommy is in the court to set the record right, because she knows that Gibbs is the after and he can't back out, baby girl, so easily.
He's the one for me.
That's how I felt.
Then he goes to a spiritual convention.
Yes.
And comes home and tells you get out.
Yeah, he told me he had to go because he was working on himself or whatever. So I was like, well, it's late. You know, can I I just wait till the morning, just go to my grandmother's house, because, it was late.
So the gentleman here was pulling these antics on his girlfriend. Sounds odd, right? Well, the defendant had a valid reason for it. Turns out that Miss Phillips had chosen another guy over him at the party. That's why the moment he got back, the intolerant man got rid of her.
Getting approached by a guy I guess they know is a part of the family. He kind of just ignores that I'm even there. I'm asking her, I said, hey, you going with me or not? No,
And
so
she's
you want to
shaking
stay?
her head yes.
Yeah, so she want to stay here with the guy that I just got into an altercation with.
Okay, don't fall for this anticipation so fast because Miss Phillips only stayed to defuse the situation. In her words, she had been on the same course for years and thought it would be the best move to cool things down.
I've been around that family for years, and I know how they work. So what I was doing, I was just trying to, kind of keep it down because they was ready to go to the house.
So out of protection for him, you were just trying to diffuse it.
Exactly.
And say, I'm just gonna stay.
Exactly.
Next came the promiscuous part. Mr. Gibbies told the court how one of his acquaintances told him about sleeping with the plaintiff, and even she confessed. But baby mama testified that she was no swindler.
All right, and I seen her, I even say hey to her, she didn't say hey to me. In that situation, yes, I was
Originally, she told me that was her brothers, her real fleshly brothers. 'Cause I asked her several
I told him
times.
all this. This is what I told him.
Mr. Gibbs, you say that Miss Phillips admitted to cheating.
Yes, I did.
She told me that, but
After that trust was drained out of their relationship, none of them had respect for each other, especially the alleged father. He had stopped down to calling his woman names and rubbing infidelity in his face.
Like I was stuck. Shoot, he ain't with her, so I'm gonna stay with her. Stay with him. That's how I felt.
What I'm gathering
Honest to
is
God
that
truth.
this relationship was messy.
Yes, ma'am.
Despite this messiness, you end up pregnant.
Yes. The question up is it mine?
But things did go better from there, either because Mr. Gibbs told the mama at the podium made things worse by vanishing. When the judge asked Miss Phillips's reason for it, she disclosed the mistreatment she had to go through. But this wasn't an excuse for the potential day.
who gets pregnant by a man that you
my
claim is your
feelings? For
pregnant
real?
by, you go and take off 800 miles away. You go to Tampa. You down there. You done left me up here high and dry. You're not worried about me.
couldn't take it
I'm
no
calling.
more.
I'm trying to
couldn't take
maintain a long distance
I couldn't,
relationship.
so I
but
left.
how much can I do this when I'm not at doctor's appointment?
The defendant was left out of the pregnancy experience. Based on these actions, Mr. Gibbs was washing his hands off of the pregnancy, and even his sister backed up his assumptions. In her mind, no one should move away from the father for the sake of the child.
Like, well, how can you do all that and you don't even have a paternity test because they both were seeing other people? She was seeing other people and he was seeing other people, and he told me around the time that the baby was conceived or when she found out she was pregnant, it didn't add up because she was seeing other people and they weren't really together like that.
Judge was right. All of this is just so messy. Both were doing things just to hurt each other, and their retaliation was keeping the poor child from having both parents in his life. Time to get that result and settle this down.
Mr. Gibbs, this court has determined that you are her father.
That's it.
How do you feel?
I'm completely fine with that. It never was a point where I felt like I didn't want it.
That.
Well, I mean, we got the determination, and I can move on and be
Like
a father.
I would be that nasty to not know who my baby dad is. I can't deal. I can't.
Miss Davis knows that too much making lovemaking with random guys has landed her in paternity court, but for the sake of her son Javion, she is ready to go down this ride. So with 4 potential fathers on the list, Davis v. Smith started like this.
Your son's father and heal your broken heart. And Mr. Smith, you argue that Ms. Davis actually told you you were not her son's father. And you say you just had a brief sexual relationship and you don't want to take care of a child that isn't yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
The mother also grew up without a father. All of her childhood went in jumping from one foster home to another, and the pain of being unwanted was clear on her face. Even the judge knew how desperate this mother was.
Well, practically a hoe of myself when I was of that age.
It's okay. Take your time.
And it just means everything to me for my son to know who his father is. I mean, my son's my world. I would do anything for that little boy.
But things were not this simple, as the mommy herself had told the defendant that he was not the father, and we all know how that spell works. Now he was sure that he wasn't the father. This brought us to the conception calendar, which had an accurate, explicit timeline.
Now, Mr. Smith, she comes to see you, and you all basically spend a solid week being intimate. Were you using protection?
No, Your Honor. It was just a fling or, a holiday fling,
Apart from the ex-boyfriend, all of this this was from the chat line. The baby mama got in touch with them and chatted a bit, and then you know what happened. The shocker was that Miss Davis didn't even remember the name of the fourth potential father.
Potential father number 4. Who is that?
Potential father number 4, Your Honor. He was a one-night stand. I don't remember his name.
You don't even remember his name. Do you know where he is?
No, Your Honor.
And now, after having this experience that you voluntarily participated in, you're not feeling too good about yourself.
No, I mean, I know I made mistakes, Your Honor.
Next, it was revealed that after getting a hardcore denial from the ex-boyfriend, the plaintiff started her daddy hunt, which showed the first 2 contenders were not the father. That left the defendant and the no-name guy in the potential father's run.
So you basically, at this point, after it wasn't your ex-boyfriend, now you have to do a process of elimination.
Right.
So now we're left with Mr. Smith and potential father number 4. Now, I remember you saying with potential father number 4, you don't know where he is.
I don't even know his name, Your Honor.
You don't even know his name.
The irony was that even though Miss Davis believed Mr. Smith was the baby daddy, still wasn't her best pick, because the guy was a mama boy. Well, you should have considered that before messing with her. Nonetheless, the guy needed to step up.
You slept with her for a week or more, right during the window of conception. So you have to acknowledge that, right?
Yes, Your Honor. But I still feel like he doesn't look like me or favor me whatsoever, Your Honor.
Have you met Javion?
Yes, I only met him once, Your Honor.
And what was your experience?
I felt kind of scared, Your Honor, because I felt like he didn't know me and I felt like a total stranger, Your Honor.
Well, that is how any normal child acts around strangers, sir. I mean, both parents were in the same state. Still, the guy made no effort to connect with his potential child. But in Mr. Smith, mommy is a gold digger. Only in for the money judge schools him for not being there for him.
What if she just wants to know who her child's father is after she admittedly made a lot of mistakes? Maybe she just wants to know for her child's sake and for her sake. Is that all right? Don't you want to know?
Yes, Your Honor. I want to know because I never had a father because he died when I was 3 years old of prostate cancer, Your Honor.
That should be your motivation.
So it is important to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
2 years of mystery have brought Javion's mother here, as none of the men filled the paternity void, which left her no choice but to force the alleged for a test. Let's see if the result will end her search.
Mr. Smith, you are not Javion's father.
I'm like so hurt, Your Honor.
You look crushed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can see that in your eyes. Because even though you consistently said, I doubt it, there's a disappointment that I see in your face.
Yes, Your Honor.
So we've been through potential fathers 1, 2, and 3. And you said the last guy, number 4, you used protection. Are there more?
Wifey here refuses to add another woman child to her family because she thinks so. Miss McLean is using the one night of passion to pin someone else's baby on them.
He take care of her, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. McLean, you say your daughter is the product of a night of passion gone wrong, and you are certain Mr. Strong is the father, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, this paternity dispute is the result of a consensual threesome. Yeah, it was a proper mix for the confusion. The shocking part was that it was the idea of Mrs. Strong. She convinced her reluctant husband to take such a swing.
We had a threesome, had a good time that night. We discussed everything beforehand of what, possibilities could be.
What possibilities?
If she did get pregnant, of which we were under the understanding there was a medical reason she couldn't.
Okay, that was a little hard to comprehend. They had everything planned, so they were very thorough, and it was revealed that they did it more than once, and even continued after the birth.
2.5 to 3 weeks after we had our very first threesome, I found out I was pregnant.
And you said you had 8 of them.
Correct.
So you were still having threesomes with them through your pregnancy?
And after.
Okay, Mr. and Ms. Strong, when Ms. McLean came and told you she was pregnant, how did that conversation go?
I asked her if it was my husband's child.
Well, it makes sense that she was claiming that Mr. Strong was the father. The only down part was that Miss McLean was dating someone else at the time and ruled him as the father at first.
So did you assume it was his child?
We were, I don't know how to explain it, we were a passionate couple, I guess. Mm-hmm. And we had intercourse a lot. So I'm not thinking, okay, maybe 1 or 2 times with them.
No, 8.
Right, but
1 or 2 times before you found out you were pregnant.
Right.
Gotcha.
They would have been the dad. I thought the gentleman I was with at the time.
Further, it was revealed that the other guy was an African man, but the baby looked nothing like him. Plus, he was already tested, and it was proven that he wasn't the father.
You DNA tested the African American man you were dating, and And it was determined that he was not Angel's biological father, right?
Correct.
So, regardless of race, he's ruled out.
Yes.
We didn't know the baby was born. We heard from a third party that she had her. We weren't even notified.
11 after that, the defendant contacted the Strongs, right out of the blue, asking them to step for the baby, which they did regardless of the obvious doubts in their heart, while Miss McClain explained herself like this.
All reality, my daughter has a lot of Douglas's tendencies. Pulling on her ears when she's tired or she's frustrated, Douglas does that. His yabba dabba doo feet, the Flintstone feet that he has, my daughter has. His laugh, my daughter has that laugh.
But you had her tested as an infant. Why did we wait a year to find out she was a possibility?
It was the defendant waiting for a while that instigated the dispute, cause the couple was stepping up either way. They loved the baby and took her in as theirs.
If this is positive, and they already call her their sister.
That's a beautiful little girl. You opened this case because you said you don't believe.
There's a 50-50 chance because I see a lot of features that could be mine, and then I also see a lot of features that aren't mine. See, I'm part Hispanic, so I mean, there's not many redhead people in my family. I mean, I do have a little bit of Irish in me, but I mean, I'm just trying to be certain because I grew up without a father.
Regardless of their dynamic, all of them were concerned about the child. The Strong family wanted to be done with every ounce of doubt, as they couldn't shake off the medical accident or other potential daddy part.
Opened up your home and your hearts to this little girl.
Yes, ma'am.
And you as well, Miss Strong.
Absolutely.
And it's because you knew openly that you were going into this threesome situation, and you all obviously weren't being responsible and using any type of extra birth control. Well, because Ms. McClain thought she couldn't get pregnant again.
She said she had an accident, which we knew about the accident, that she couldn't have children from. That's what we looked at.
All of this sounds very big to them, right? Well, they wouldn't be in a situation if they hadn't gone for the three-way, so the judge asked Mrs. Strongs what made her go for such wild ventures. And the reply was this.
This is fun for you, huh, Ms.
No,
Strong?
it is not fun for me at all.
No, I'm talking about the threesomes.
I'd rather him do it with me than behind my back.
What'd you say?
I'd rather him do it with me than behind my back.
Oh!
Okay. Before they made me look bad, most of the threesomes were her idea.
They were.
That's what I felt like.
That's what I'm saying. Like, before I get looked like a jerk or something, like.
So the wifey had all the things played out to control her husband. In her mind, every man wants to cheat, but she would rather let him do it in front of her. Wow, quite manipulative, don't you think?
And so if it's determined that Angel is your husband's biological child, what happens in your relationship? Does the dynamic get weird? What happens?
No, I have absolutely no issue.
But in this case, the three of you are intimate and the baby was made with you in the bed.
Yeah.
That's a lot of forward thinking, which was good for the baby girl. I'm not sure how this trio is going to manage. So before going to the envelope, the judge asked the baby mama if they should look out for paternity surprises. Miss McClain negated. Let's see what happens then.
Mr. Strong, you are not the father. I'm sorry to have to deliver that news, Mr. and Miss Strong. It seemed like you were very happy at the thought of having Angel as your little girl, but unfortunately you are not her biological father. Ms. McClain, I asked you, would there be any surprises?
No, I know, but I didn't even know the fact that the gentleman did a DNA test with my daughter.